answer questions if you want.
Okay, we'll go with some Q&A here. We do have some on the chat screen. Bring these up here. Um, well, first of all, I want to thank you, Randy. You did a great job. We'll be praying for you that the chemo
Okay.
go well for you. And uh, actually, you said you just finished the almond harvest. How was the almond crop this year?
Oh no, we just moved the bees in. The trees are just in early bloom right now.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they'll be blooming for if it, unless it warms up, they'll be blooming for a few more weeks.
Okay. The first question I have here is
Yeah, I
how
just saw that
broad.
one about the pollen sub. Yeah, it's I'm in contact with the manufacturers, and some of I've already told them some of them are going to be disappointed by the way their subs perform. The one that performed the worst, I've been in close contact because he's a personal friend, and he actually sent me a version to do testing on afterwards. So I don't do this to embarrass anybody. I do this to benefit.
This is from Bird Hall, Fairview, Pennsylvania. Does the OA sponges, the extended, and towels, how does that compare to the oxalic acid vapor?
Well, you walk out the hive, you toss it in, you walk away for 2 months. If you want to get the same efficacy of the vapor, you go back 10 times.
Percival Hamilton from Harbor Creek, Pennsylvania. This OAE, I think I asked you this question. How do you think it's going? I'm pretty sure you think it's going to be approved. You think this going to be for this season for us or not?
Again, that's why I asked Jay Evans. There's
Yeah.
me as you might have guessed, I'm a fast-moving guy. I get stuff done quick. That's not the way the government works.
Uh,
So it's like trying to me, it's like trying to move a mountain with a garden trowel. It's just amazingly frustrating. And I'm not sure whether EPA, there's two manufacturers trying to get a formulated product registered, and they probably will be registered. And if that happens, they may not put on the generic. I'm trying to get them to do a generic additional application method so any beekeeper can make these up at home inexpensively. Um, so that may or may not happen. I don't know.
I have Jen from Ypsilanti, Michigan. Honey supers. Can you leave the honey supers on with the OAE and also with the OAV? Two questions.
If he's talking about legally, no. If he's talking about whether there's plenty of data showing that does not get it in the honey, yes.
Fred, I'm sure you have a question. You're on.
Okay, I do have a question. When we're treating the bees, like even with formic, and you've got one small apiary, and let's say two of those colonies do not get high mite count, do you, because of their proximity to the highly loaded colonies, when you give like a formic treatment, do we have concern about bee drift, running some bees out of those and into what otherwise would be safe colonies that would infect them with varroa mites? So would you treat them all,
Good question.
or
I
would
don't. I haven't
you?
seen. Yeah, I haven't seen any research on whether the formic increases the bee drift. Now, I have yet unpublished as to whether when colonies collapse from varroa, whether that increases the bee drift. And my research did not support that hypothesis. I didn't see any increase in drift of the bees, but I did find there's a lot of drift going on all the time,
Yeah.
um, independent of robbing completely. And we were surprised. We had an apiary a half mile away from the test apiary, and we got a lot of bees drifting to a half mile away, and we got a few bees drifting to a mile away. So drift is going on all the time, and it depends a lot. We also see with our difference in resistance in our colonies. We're in a selective breeding program for mite resistance. You can have a colony with a mite count of 50 sitting 6 inches from a colony with a mite count of 0, and hold like that. So there's some colonies that are like bee magnets and mite magnets, and some colonies that are disseminators that disseminate them out. And I don't know that you can make a hard and fast rule of what happens.
Yeah,
Charlie, I
so
see
then
that.
what is your practice? Would you treat them all then? Or do you let the ones that are low mites untreated?
We're in a selective breeding program. So the ones that don't need treatment, we don't treat.
And those are your
But,
breeding
but, but
colonies. Okay.
right. But if you're not in a
Yeah.
selective breeding program, you're probably better off just treating them all.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
Anything
for
more,
that.
Fred?
You bet.
Charlie, You have a question for Randy at all?
Oh, I was just thinking about the formic acid one strip versus two strips, but both your data seem to indicate that like the first 3 days is the most intense, most useful as far as
Right.
knockdown. So I think that's something that we've experienced as well. It seemed like it seemed like there didn't even have much odor left in it after 3 days or 4 days.
Right. So the original Midaway 2 pads that came before Midaway quick strips, their release rate was well above that top dotted line for 5 or 6 days. They were much
Oh,
stronger as far
yeah,
as the release rate. I personally know some beekeepers who continue to recycle and recharge those old Midaway 2 pads um, and use them over and over again because they still work really well.
yeah, I remember those pads. Those were pretty brutal.
Anyway, that's not a legal thing to do. So it's just somebody that I know that does that.
Yeah.
Okay, crew. Randy's was here for a good amount of time here. We do really appreciate it. I want to give you one more minute for a question. Does anybody else have any questions?
Can I quick go back to the probiotics? Because I believe one of the claims is that they prevent European foul brood. Is there a way that you can even think about testing that?
Yeah, we are. That's what Kirk's going to do because with the next gen sequencing, they can look for the DNA of the Melissococcus and see the European foul brood and see if it's reduced in those colonies that have the probiotics.
Good question. Good answer.
Good question. Yes.
Anybody else?
Randy, I do have one question. This is Tracy Ferrone. How are you?
Hi.
Thanks
This
for
is a
talking with
bee
us
vet.
tonight.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I was wondering about the oxalic that you're, thanks for talking about that.
Wait.
The
If you're a vet, you need to learn how to pronounce it.
oxalic.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm on my phone. Hey, are you anticipating that it'll be approved? If you can get it approved with Superzon, are you?
That's what we're shooting for. Yes, we've
Yeah.
already done the testing of the honey. It doesn't cause a problem in the honey.
Right, because it'd be great if we could get it okayed to use in the summertime.
Absolutely. That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
And
Thanks
you know
for-
what happens to me is it's just me that our industry has not gotten together to really get on board and push the USDA or EPA or to just register it ourselves. There's nothing stopping the bee industry from just registering it ourselves. The bee industry we are so backwards compared to every other livestock industry. We expect everybody to do everything for us rather than us getting it and actually doing something. So I'm disappointed in the bee industry or national organizations for not pushing this. This could be a total game changer for beekeeping. Inexpensive, safe treatment. It's
Yeah,
just
well,
not happening.
unfortunately, if they commercialize it, then it'll become expensive, and we won't be able to make our own. That could be a
Unless they
problem.
do what I'm saying is add it to the approved application methods, which is right now there's 3 approved application methods: dribble, spraying, and vaporization. And it'd be very easy to say, oh, or you can mix it with oxalic acid or with glycerin and apply it on strips.
Randy, politically speaking, is there anything that we could do by calling the EPA, writing a letter or anything governmentally?
Again, I asked Jay Evans that answer, and I'll let you read his answers. That question.
I read them.
Read his answers in the American Bee Journal.
Okay.
I would say we probably be better talking to our industry leaders. That as if you're a supporter of the HPA or the ABF, tell them.
Adam Strickland from Oil City. Adam, you might have to clarify this. Update on which frames are most representative for testing you are going to retest in the summer.
The common recommendation is to pull brood frame. I'm assuming you're talking about monitoring for mite levels by doing mite washes.
I think so, yes.
And if you pull a brood frame, you're going to get a great variation, and you're going to get some scary numbers. So what we do in our operation is we pull a frame adjacent to the brood, but not conclude. So it may have bee bread on it, or maybe the first honey frame. And I've got an article at my website that goes through what we found. Actually did that in the hives, and that gives you a more consistent and probably more representative mite wash count than pulling brood frames.
I'm going to close the question and answer right here. And again, Randy, thank you so much.
You bet.
With a lot of good information, a lot of new stuff here, a lot to even digest. We were actually very overwhelming there with all the information.
Well, that's been my whole summer, and then cracking all the data to make sense of all this stuff. It's just been insane.
Yeah, really, really good. So again, I want to thank you. You guys have any reactions here? It's hard to say anything, but you could give them an applause or a thumbs up here.
Thank you. All right, guys. Best of luck to you today with keeping.
Yeah, we're going to need some prayers, and we'll be praying for you, like I said. So
Oh, yeah.
God bless there. Okay.
Yeah, good luck with your health, Randy.
Thank you. Yep. It's supposed to be a very good chance of total cure. So I'm counting on it.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
Good.
We're
All
gonna
right.
go
Good night, everybody.
Good, thanks.
Good
Thank
night.
you.